Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew and this is the Just a Guy Linux YouTube channel. As you know, we are, or maybe if you're here for the first time, thank you for being here, thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. I wanted to say that we focus on Debian on this channel for the most part. So what we are doing is kind of concluding our foray into Debian testing with the XFCE desktop environment. And today is kind of like a story day because what I'd like to share with you is that when I first started using Linux, my first distribution was probably Linux Mint. And when I installed it, I thought to myself, man, this is great. Everything works really well. And I wanted to get more and more involved in how stuff works. So, as you kind of do research, you realize, hey, Linux Mint is using Ubuntu as its core, and then, who does Ubuntu use? It uses Debian. So I kind of been really a proponent of Debian and doing stuff for yourself. And my daily driver, for those of you that don't know what that is, what I use on my desktop every day is Debian stable. And I use i3 gaps as a Windows manager. So what I want to do is show you kind of how I train myself by using XFCE to kind of migrate from being a desktop environment to using a Windows manager. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about where we are currently. And we are using Bookworm, Debian Bookworm, which is the testing stage of Debian, using this kernel, and XFCE 4.16, just so that we're clear. Now, with tiling Windows managers, you're using key bindings for everything, and XFCE allows you to really control a lot of stuff by using key bindings. Now, that's not just XFCE. There's a lot of customization that goes with most of the desktop environments. But since XFCE is if I was to choose a desktop environment, I would choose XFCE. I really like Cinnamon. Not a big fan of GNOME, and I am, some of the other ones are okay too. But I kind of stick with those, more the GTK stuff. So anyway, I want to show you where you would go to kind of modify your XFCE to do things using keystrokes rather than mouse. So what I want to do is I'm going to open up the window manager, and I'm going to open up the, sorry, I'm a little bit slow, keyboard. Okay. Just so we're clear, if you're a Windows user and you're watching this video because you're like, I want to try this, I want to use, you can always use your mouse. It's not a problem. I'm just trying to maybe make you a little bit more productive. I mean, that's the bottom line. You can be more productive by using more of your keyboard than you can your mouse. XFCE, as well as all the desktop environments that I just mentioned, including Windows and Mac, are all floating window managers, okay? And you can use tiling like Pop! OS does, but with Debian and XFCE, you have an opportunity to use keystrokes to it's over here actually. Use keystrokes to move from one workspace to another, to close applications, to shift an application to a different workspace. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay? But the very first thing I want to do is, this is a little messy down here. So I want to go over to the workspace switcher, which we have from the last, well, actually from the very beginning, haven't we? And I want to open up workspace settings. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here and this over here. And I'm going to go ahead and close this window manager for now because we really don't need that. And I want to also go to Properties. And so what we're looking at right here is a miniature view. Now what I want to do is change it to buttons, okay? And notice that's all kind of messed up looking and just says Workspace 1, but you'll get the idea in a second because I'm just going to use one row, okay? And then I'm going to bump it up one more workspace so that there's 5. I mean, I get the fact that this is messed up, so let's do this. And I'm just going to say space 1 space, okay? And I'm going to go down and say space 2 space, space 3 space, space 4 space, and space 5 space. And there you go. There's the different workspaces that you can have on your XFCE desktop. Okay, done with this for now. And let's talk about application shortcuts. Most people will use the same 4 applications for 90% of their stuff, if not more, okay? So what I like to do is the stuff that I use are my file manager, a web browser, an editor, like a text editor, okay? And that's pretty much it, for me at least. So what I want to do is show you how to accomplish that. And as far as what I do is Thunar is your file manager, and if I hit Super E, which is the Windows key, on your keyboard, it pops up. There's my file manager, okay? I'm not a big fan of Super E being the shortcut. Actually, I think Control Alt F for F being file manager is a little bit more appropriate. But since we're here, why don't we just edit, and we just hit OK for Thunar. And now I'm going to just go to my keyboard and hit Super F. Okay, notice I just changed it to from Super E to Super F. So now when I hit Super F, boom, your Thunar file manager comes up right away. Let's add another one, okay? Firefox ESR, so is my browser of choice. So I'm going to go to Edit. Oh, actually, that's not true. I'm going to add Firefox-ESR. And hit OK. And now this is up to you. If you want it Super W for web, that's fine. I kind of like Super B for browser, Super B. And there's Super B for browser, okay? Since I changed the Super E to Super F for Thunar, I'm going to use Mousepad. It's the only one I have on here. I don't use Mousepad. I use other text editors like Vim or Genie if I'm in a a GTK environment or something. So basically, I'm going to add Mousepad, and since I don't have Super E as a keybind anymore, I'm going to hit Super E. So Super E, and there is my editor. Okay, so when I open up something like this, you can see the editor, the text editor that I was working on. Okay. Now, probably the last thing that I'm going to add for now is a terminal. And that's the one that, to me, is the most important, just the way I work. Okay? So I like a terminal to have actually, I'm going to use 2 more. I'm going to have, when I'm using I3 gaps, I use super enter as my super return as my launch for whichever for whichever terminal I'm using. So I'm going to add, and I think it actually is right here. See where it says EXO open launch terminal blah blah blah. So if I hit, I'm going to try to hit it, Control Alt T, and there is my XFCE 4 terminal. Okay, but I'm going to add and then say XFCE 4 terminal and hit OK. And then I'm going to hit super return And there is going to be my terminal right there, super return. And then it opens up my terminal. Awesome. So before, last episode, we worked on launchers, okay? And the default launcher for this ULauncher application, so maybe you don't like this, or maybe you don't want it installed on your PC. If you did install it and you use the default key binding, it's Control Space, okay? And it's kind of cool because I can just say Thomas Jefferson, all right? And I can just go and do this Google search. So, or it's usually actually not Thomas Jeff. It'd be like, you know, I use the example of baseball. So if I'm going at Google search or Wikipedia, I can just do whichever and use the key binding Alt-1 to Alt-3 for that. Now, most of the time, you just want to launch an application that's on your machine. So if I hit Control Space, I can hit RIS. Oh, there's the image viewer I want, and I could just hit Enter. Okay. If you don't like that, and you want to, you go over here, and then you go to Graphics, and then you click on Image Viewer, or you just launch it from here. What I'm trying to do is show you that there can be a shortcut method for doing that. So, but to open up this without touching the mouse is not that challenging, actually. You can just go Add, and then XFCE 4 pop-up, and then whisker menu. Now I'm going to use super spacebar, okay? Super spacebar, boom. And I'm wondering where it is, but super space right there. Pop-up whisker menu. So if I do that, super space, notice that I'm going to go use my mouse here, but notice that it put the cursor in the search field. So let me just go do this again. I'm going to hit super space and then RIST, and there's the Ristretto image viewer, and if I hit enter, it just pops up. So I didn't touch my mouse for any of those, for any of those interactions. Okay, awesome. So as far as application shortcuts, this is where you would use that. This is where you would put all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just leave it there for now. And I'm going to go to the window manager. So there's key bindings for applications, and then there are key bindings for how you use a window. All right. So what I want to show you from the very beginning is how to tile something. Okay. Now, this is a little tricky. For those of you that are on a laptop, you may not have this functionality because you may not have a keypad. I know that I don't. With my laptop, I don't have a keypad. I have arrows, like directional arrows, and so maybe I want to show you how to use that. Now, I'm going to also show you that these the keypad works as well. So what I'm going to do from the is I'm going to open up my file manager using Super F. Boom. Actually, it's right there. So, but I want to do then, since it's already on using 50% of the workspace. This is Workspace 1. See where it's highlighted here, Workspace 1. Say I want to move it over to the left side. I don't have to actually even do this and drag it and find out, oh, okay. And then, basically I want to keep it 50%, but I want to put it on my left side. All right. All I have to do is hit super keypad left, which is, to me, is the number 4. The number 4 on my keypad. So super 4. And there it is. It just moves it to the 50%, so that it's 50% on the left side of the workspace. So if I want to go back, super 6 or right arrow, super 4, super 6, super 4, super 6. Okay? Awesome, right? Let's say you want to keep this. Since it's on a laptop, you may not have like a lot of space, and so you want to change this. So if I want just, by the way, if I hit super down, it's going to go to the very top. So it's like, that doesn't make sense to me, by the way. Super down, so this would be the number 2, right? So watch when I do this. Super 2 actually goes to the top. So that doesn't make sense to me at all, but whatever. It's just, so if I hit super 8, which is the top of the key, doesn't make sense. But if I hit super 7, it's going to go and use 25%. It's going to tile 25% to the top left corner, and super 9 is going to use, you can see, super 9 or super page up, basically. So page up would be super 9. It doesn't make sense to me. This does. This does, because the page up is in the right upper part of the keypad. I'm making a mess of this, aren't I? But I hope you get the idea. The best way to do this is super 6 and super 4, okay? But what if I don't have a keypad, okay? So let's do this. I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to use my arrow keys. So if I hit tile to the left, I'm going to hit super left. Notice that it just says super left, okay? That's the arrow key on my keypad. It'd be the arrow key on my, sorry, not on my keypad, but the arrow key on my keyboard would also be the left arrow key on my laptop, if that makes sense. So not the keypad where the numbers are, but just the arrow key, okay? So same thing, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to use the arrow key, super right, all right? Now, it's up to you. This is what you would do if you were using a laptop and wanted to use tiling, okay? I'm going to go ahead and change this back just for consistency, and I'm going to edit super right. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong, sorry. So super left, and then edit super right. And again, I don't like this at all. This doesn't make sense at all. But in fact, let me go ahead and change this. This doesn't make sense at all. So if I want to put a tile a window to the top, I want to use the up arrow key on the keypad. So super up. Oh, it's going to give me a problem, right? Use it, and then I'm going to edit this and hit the down there. That makes a lot more sense to me. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so in order to use, in order to move things from one workspace to another, okay, we are currently on workspace 1. And all this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and close this. Workspace 1. So there's nothing on workspace 2. Okay? I can go over here and say move to workspace 2. And that's fine. But if you want to quickly do it, you can just say Control Alt 2. So if this is highlighted or something, you say Control Alt 2. And there you go. It's moved it. Now, actually, I've already moved a couple things. So let me go back real quick. This would be super control. So Control F1. Sorry. This I should have changed prior to doing the video, but I'm not going to stop. So. Okay. As you can see, these are the default key bindings for workspaces. So Control F2, I'm going to go and hit and there is my second workspace. So if I hit Control F1, I go back to the first workspace, Control F2 to the second workspace. Okay. If you're using a tiling window manager, usually you just use Super 1, Super 2, and it changes your workspace. So what we're going to do now is work on how to change workspaces. Okay. So the easiest thing for me to learn how to, to use a tiling window manager is to kind of edit your key bindings in XFCE to match those. So what I'm going to do here is hit Edit, and the Windows key, or the Super key, plus Shift plus 1 would be move whatever you have to Workspace 1. So I'm going to go Super Shift 1, which automatically, because 1, and I have the Shift key down, is going to make it look like the exclamation point. Here we're going to go Super Shift 2, Edit, Super Shift 3, Edit, Super Shift 4, and since we have 5 workspaces now, we're going to do Edit, Super Shift 5. Okay. Now again, these are this because the Shift key is held down, that's why this is registering as a % and not a 5. Okay. But when I say edit here, I'm going to say Super 1. Just Super 1. Okay. And I'm going to Super 2. Edit Super 3. Edit Super 4. And edit Super 5. Okay. Now, what do you want to do? You want to, and also, let me just finish up this thought actually. So I'm on the workspace 2, all right? And I want to move this over, so I hit Super Shift 1, okay? And it's gone. Now I haven't touched my keyboard, but when I hit Super 1, there's the file manager, okay? Maybe that's what, and so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and close this so that we know what's going on right now. So I'm going to close these, and I'm going to open something that I haven't opened before. So let's just say mousepad. That's fine, okay? So there, we're on workspace 1, and I'm going to go Super Shift 2. Now Super 2, and there it is. Now I'm going to say send it back over to workspace 1, Super Shift 1, Super 1, and there it is. So I've moved a bunch of stuff without, and then I'm going to say Super keypad 6, 4. So you're doing all of these things by using your keyboard rather than using your mouse to do things. Okay. Let's change one more thing. Maybe more, but let's just change this. Closing a window. Okay. Now, this is a big deal. A lot of people will, if I open something like this and I hit Alt F4, it closes. Okay. I'm gonna hit Super Enter to open my terminal, and then I'm gonna hit Alt F4 to close it. So we want to be consistent. All right. So what I want to do is I use Super Shift a lot, especially for Windows. So Super Shift 1, move the window. Super Shift, to me, I use Super Shift C to close. A lot of people will use Super Shift Q to close for quit. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to hit Super Shift C. All right, this is just me. This doesn't mean have to be your keybind. It could be anything. All right, so I'm going to hit Super Enter, and I'm going to hit, and I'm not yet touching the keyboard, so I'm going to hit Neo Fetch. All right, and now I'm going to hit Super Shift C to close it. All right, Super E and I'm going to hit Super 6 to move it over, Super 4 to move it over, and I'm going to hit Super Shift 5, and I just moved it to the 5th workspace. Now I'm going to go Super 5, and there it is, Super Shift C. So I did, and then back to Super 1, and that is like I didn't touch my mouse one time. You know, that's what it can help you be much more productive. This is a really long discussion. I apologize for how frantic it kind of sounds. There's a lot that you can do with some of this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you a smattering of move workspace to upper workspace, or move to the right workspace. Now again, all of these are just cardinal numbers, so it's easy to do it like this. But there are, like I said, there are shortcuts that you may want to take advantage of. This is about what I would do. This is about the extent of what I would do as far as like modifying my workflow. But I would probably investigate other things, you know, like cycling windows and stuff like that. Okay, and I'm going to end the discussion today. Hope that you got something out of it. Honestly, I hope that I wasn't too like unclear. I'm going to probably watch this back to see how good a job I did, and if I didn't do a good job, then I probably will have to do it again, because I don't really stop and I don't edit the videos at all, so because I'm just not capable. So anyway, thanks a lot, and see you next time.